The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
Many years ago, when my one of my daughters was born, she was 6 weeks old. She got a virus, and after she got this virus, unfortunately, a little baby, they're so fragile. She got a virus, and the germs went to her, spread throughout her body, and she got really sick. It started shutting down her organs, her liver, her kidneys, her heart. She went into complete septic shock. Her body started shutting down. And I remember we were in and out of that. Not in and out of the hospital. We were in the hospital, and it was critical. They said it was critical condition, and we asked the doctors, how are things looking? And they said to us, it's a third. 1/3 chance she's going to get better. Now, keep in mind, the situation that she was in, the state that she was in, was that she was, if you could imagine, a little baby in, medically induced coma, tubes, intubated, IVs, totally tubed up. And they said 1/3 chance she could get better, 1/3 chance she could stay the same in a vegetative state, and 1/3 chance she'll get worse and she'll pass away. And at one point, the doctors came to us and they said, we have some bad news. It looks like she's got some fluid in her lungs. And, once she ends up in that type of situation where there's fluid in her lungs, it can lead to pulmonary hypertension and then congestive heart failure, which was the 1/3, that was going to be the worst outcome. That night, we stormed Shemayim with tefillah. Our community banded together. They were davening. They were crying. People around the world were davening that morning, putting on tefillin. People who had never used the mikvah were using the mikvah. It was the craziest stuff was happening. People doing all kinds of mitzvahs and davening. Mama stormed the heavens. Next morning, the doctors are doing their rounds. And my wife, who's a nurse practitioner, she's aware of everything, all that's going on. She knows that the type of treatment that she would need to potentially get her out of this situation, which was to drain her lungs, etc. My wife's waiting for the doctors to come around to give her that medicine. And finally, the doctors come around and she goes, what's going on? Like, why is nobody giving her this, whatever the medicine was? And they say, what do you mean? Nobody told you? So my wife says, nobody told us what? They said her x-ray that we took of her lungs, it was just overexposed. Her lungs are completely fine. In fact, she actually had a major turn overnight. Her kidneys are functioning well, her liver is functioning well, and we're going to move her out of the ICU to a regular pediatric unit. She went from literally the 1/3 of death to the 1/3 of life overnight. I think in Mazel, in the stars, or B'derech HaTeva, in nature, we were heading in the 1/3 that was not so good. But Ein Mazel Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is not bound by that. And when we storm the heavens, when we have such Emunah in such a dark time, when we daven wholeheartedly like that, when we do mitzvahs like this, it changes the outcome. When we realize that we're going into a situation, whatever it is, we're facing a challenge in our marriage, we're facing a challenge with our kids, financially, whatever, we're having something with machlokas, we're feeling depressed, we're feeling down, we're struggling with something in life. And it literally seems like we're going up against an army. How am I going to win this? I'm literally getting crushed. We realize that we only need one thing. Eliezer. All I need is Eliezer. When a Jew realizes all he needs is Eliezer, all he needs is help from Hashem, and we go in with that to battle, that's what we wear on our chest, that's what's on our shield, that's what the flag we're holding, then that's the mazel that we get. Then Hashem changes the situation. We don't need to change Makam Kavua. We can be right here. Any spot will do. Because the Hashem of Avraham is the one that we believe in.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org